the people of New Mexico recognize how special our land, air, and water are and our culture is, and that we have an obligation and responsibility to protect that for future generations.
Climate crisis is a reality, but it is sadly a highly contested reality with only the worst of faith.
As we see the increasing effects of global climate change, the communities that are adding to the carbon footprint the least are getting affected the most.
This whole place has turned into a whole new name. It's no longer Otis.
This whole area is called Oil Central now.
The name has changed.
You set up these toxic industries in poorer people of color communities, you're not going to get a lot of protests around any kind of job creation that is happening, and that's not a choice.
How is this fracturing the landscape, and how is this impacting the broader cultural landscape? And that cultural significance exists not only for the artifacts, but it is a living landscape.
That has been the biggest issue for me, is protecting our water, and then of course that leads into protecting the land, of course our air.
You can't represent the interests of oil companies at the same time that you represent the interests of children, of black and brown people, of the American nation, of the human species. Those things are mutually exclusive.
You cannot feel safe in your own home, then there is a problem. And I think our government should not allow people to make your environment not safe.
I grew up here, and my family goes back here generations. And I grew up near the river. And water is life. So I've always been passionate about the environment, and now I feel like I'm in a position to do something about it.
I think New Mexico needs to be given the opportunity to have a say in what they want. The people need to have a say.
The Bill of Rights is a place where we speak about our human rights. And in our priority of rights, the ability to breathe, the ability to drink clean water, those are basic human fundamental rights. They belong in our Constitution.
I think having a green amendment in New Mexico would first of all give us an incredible tool to hold politicians accountable. It could also help us restructure what our government does, what it exists to do, right? We can get on paper, in Constitution, leadership within the government of New Mexico saying that, hey, my job as an elected official is to protect your future as a young generation, or to protect your future as people of color experiencing higher rates of air pollution. That's my job because I'm elected by you. So I should recognize those rights and I should preserve them. If we can get that promise, then that means one of two things. Either that promise is kept, right? And we have environments, communities that will be treated better. We have a livable future for future generations. Or that promise will be broken like it already has always been. But when that promise is broken, we can say, hey, remember when you wrote it down in the state constitution that this was your job, because you're not doing your job. And if you're not doing your job, you're not going to be reelected. And so be able to say, hey, you're taking something from us. You've recognized that it was ours. And so now when you take it, we can hold you accountable. And I see that as the tool and the advantage and the hope that a green amendment could offer.